Hey y'all, Ian here with the safety briefing assignment, and for this assignment I chose a sport I love the most, which is surfing. You can see my surfboard there. You can see my wetsuit. I chose, for the purpose of this assignment, I guess I pretended, in my head, I pretended I was just, taking a couple of beginners out in South Beach, Crescent City in California. And I think that for the purpose of this, for this safety briefing, there's um, four different aspects to it, right? The first one being the gear, which comes before you head to the beach, the day before, or whatever. The second one, or the conditions, you have to learn how to read the ocean and the weather and all of that. And then the third one is paddling out, and then the fourth one is when you're in the water, so things that can happen. um, so for the first one, which is gear, we're gonna I would have told them beforehand about the gear aspect of it, and the main piece um, that you have to have is definitely a surfboard. You cannot surf without a surfboard. But also for the conditions we're talking about here, we really need a wetsuit, and a good one. So this is the wetsuit I have. It's a 5'4" millimeters. It's a really good wetsuit, and it comes with a hoodie, a hood, which is awesome for the cold water we have around here. It's a full length. It's really good. So that's the first piece. You cannot survive the conditions we have here if you don't have a good wetsuit. And the second one, buddies. Buddies are key as well. Your feet need to be as warm as possible. And don't get me wrong, going to Crescent City, your feet are still gonna freeze up, even if you have one of these. But you need them, definitely do. And then the second part of the layers you need are gloves, which I would have told them it's optional. I do not wear them usually, and not only because I don't own them, but I don't. It doesn't. I don't know. It does not work for me. So you got to see what works for you. And gloves make me feel too uncomfortable. So moving on from the layers you need, you definitely need a surfboard. That is a shortboard, a hardtop. I don't know how to say that in English, but it's a shortboard. And I'll definitely not, for beginners. For beginners, you're usually gonna go with a longboard. But in this case, I would definitely suggest them, which I really like for learning, is soft tops. The really famous brand are Wave Storms. A bunch of different colors, rainbow-looking boards. You guys probably seen them around. But if not, they're really good for beginners because you will not get hurt if you get hit in the hand, which might happen. And then after the surfboard, you definitely need a leash. This is a shortboard leash. This one is an ankle leash. It goes around your ankle, and this end goes on the surfboard. And you definitely need a good leash. This one is, like I said, it's a shortboard leash. And the longer the board you have, the bigger of a leash you gotta have, right? So if you have a long board, this is like a 6 foot long, I think. Not sure now, but if you have a 9 foot long board, you're gonna have a 9 foot long leash, or even bigger than that, and thicker too. So the bigger the leash, the thicker they are as well. So this is another important piece of the equation. And then next, definitely sunscreen. Cannot forget sunscreen. I think that covers the gear, the basic gear you need to get out in Crescent City, California. And then after that, I guess that's something you keep an eye open as well. Checking the forecast, checking the weather forecast, the swell forecast, and whatnot. And then keeping an eye for conditions. Learning how to read the ocean is very important. And like I said in the beginning, the conditions here are usually tricky. Um, it's usually choppy. It's really hard to find a clean day here. Glassy and that looks good. So usually here, the waves are messy, and so that's also something you have to keep an eye open, right? So if it's too choppy, it's too windy, like offshore wind pushing you out to the ocean, and the waves are too big, you're probably gonna choose not to go out, right? Or if you do, you're gonna be super safe and stay on the shore and catching the white water. So conditions are also a big piece of it. I myself have gone out and not listened to the conditions. Thought it was gonna be fun, and it was scary. So we want to avoid that. We want to avoid any trauma, so that people can come back and try to surf again. Um, and then after conditions, it comes the whole technique. I would walk them through all the technique on the sand, how to stand up, how to, paddle, how to drop in or whatever. But I guess for the purpose of the assignment, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about, paddling out. Paddling out in the ocean can be complicated as well. A lot of white water coming, hitting you in the face. You don't know what to do. There's two main things. So to get over the white water or whatever, really good technique that works is pretending I'm paddling here. I'm on the board. Whenever there's a white water coming, you're gonna turn around and go underwater, and you're gonna have your board like this, and the white water is gonna go over you, and you'll be fine. You're gonna be holding on to your board, and then once the white water goes by you can come back up and continue to paddle, right? That usually works really well. And then the second thing is there's a wave coming and there's people surfing on the wave. You do not want to paddle towards the, let me rephrase that, you do want to paddle towards the white water, right? So if it's you paddling out, there's a left hand braking, you don't want to paddle towards where it's not braking, you want to paddle towards the white water. And if there's a right hand braking, you want to paddle to your right to the white water, because you do not want to collide with that person. You don't want to mess up their wave. They might get mad. So always paddle towards the white water. And another thing is, I guess, when you're in the water, you're surfing, whatever. We went over all the technique, catching waves. I would probably keep them on the white water, like closer to the shore, just so it's safer. And something that's key, is very important, I've seen it happen, it happened to me several times, is when you go under, let's say you caught a wave, you fell and you went under. First thing we want to do is like come up with our head first, to see what's happening. You come up with your head first, boom, get hit in the head. Super common, happens all the time. So if you go under, very important is to come up with your hands first, right? So you're checking what's up before you come with your head, right? So you're checking if there is your board is around you, and so we're avoiding that collision, right? So you come out with your hands out and you like protecting your head as much as you can. See people, blacking out and whatever. from getting hit in the head. So I think those are the main components of the surfing safety briefing. Besides all, the technique, the more experience they get, the more safer they are. But I think those are the basics that I would go over with them. I hope you all liked it. I'm sorry I'm not the greatest with recording videos, and also the quality. I really tried doing it from my phone, but I cannot figure out how to pass it to my computer, so I'm doing it from my, the camera on the computer, which is not the greatest. But hope you all liked it, and let's go out and surf.